A powerful emotional shift may be unfolding around your connection right now, and deep inside, you may already sense that something feels unsettled. Sometimes the heart notices changes long before the mind can explain them. Your soulmate could be moving through a season of confusion, fear, or emotional pressure, making choices from a place of hurt rather than clarity. When people feel overwhelmed, they often become vulnerable to negativity, outside opinions, and emotions that cloud their judgment. In moments like these, misunderstandings can grow quickly, and actions taken in frustration may create distance where love once felt certain. But this does not mean the bond is destroyed. It simply means emotions are louder than wisdom right now. Someone may have encouraged fear, fueled insecurity, or pushed them toward decisions that do not truly reflect who they are at their core. Pain has a way of making people react before they fully understand the consequences of their actions. Still, darkness never holds power forever when truth and self-awareness begin to rise. This is why your energy matters so much in this moment. Instead of responding with panic, anger, or desperation, remain grounded in peace and emotional strength. Your calmness will protect your spirit far more than fear ever could. What is happening now is temporary, and clarity has a way of arriving once emotions settle and outside influence loses its grip. Trust that genuine connections are not destroyed by one difficult moment. If this relationship is truly meant to grow, honesty, healing, and understanding will eventually guide both hearts back toward the truth they almost lost sight of. Your soulmate hired a man to end something, to end your peace, to end your rise, to end your influence, to end a connection that ties both your souls. Not to end your life, no, your life is protected by me, but to end something that belongs to you, something that carries weight in the spiritual realm, something that the enemy fears. You must understand this. Your soulmate is not your enemy. They are a wounded heart, acting from a place of pain and pressure. They have people around them, forces around them, energies around them that do not want this connection to rise. They do not want your light to reach them. They do not want your destiny to align with theirs, because together the two of you hold a power that can shake the very darkness that surrounds them. My child, this moment, this evil deal, did not happen because your soulmate is evil. It happened because they are lost. They are being controlled by fear. They have been drowning in thoughts they cannot speak, and in the silence of their suffering, someone else took advantage. Someone fed their mind with poison until they believed the unthinkable was the only option. And I watched it happen, but I did not stay silent. From the moment that man accepted the deal, I stepped in, because no weapon formed against you can prosper. No intention set against your spirit can survive. No plan designed to break your calling can stand while my hand is upon you. My child, I want you to feel my presence right now. I want you to feel my calm entering your spirit. I want you to feel the weight lifting from your chest as you hear my words, because you are not in danger. You are not unprotected. You are not alone. You are surrounded by angels, by warriors of light, who have already positioned themselves between you and every dark intention sent your way. But I am telling you this because you need to know the truth. You need to understand why your soulmate acted like this. You need to see the spiritual war around them. You need to understand that their heart is breaking even while their actions are being used by darkness. Your soulmate is not sleeping right now. Their mind is racing. Their hands are shaking. Their thoughts are spiraling. They know what they did was wrong. They know they crossed a line they should never have crossed. And even though it has only been 15 minutes, regret is already growing inside them like fire. They don't want to hurt you, my child. They want to hurt the pain they feel. They want to end the confusion. They want to silence the voices in their head telling them they are losing you. They want to destroy the fear that they are not enough for you. But in their panic, they reached toward darkness instead of toward me, and the man they hired. Oh, my child, He is someone who feeds on desperation. He steps into moments like this. He takes advantage of emotional instability. He knows how to twist situations for his own benefit. And when your soulmate opened the door, even slightly, that man stepped in with full intention to break something sacred. But my child, hear me clearly. I did not allow him to reach you. I did not allow his intentions to find their target. I did not allow the darkness to walk the path it intended, because the moment your soulmate made that deal, I broke it spiritually. You are protected. You are sealed. You are covered by a divine shield that no earthly or spiritual attack can penetrate. But I revealed this to you because your soulmate is drowning, and they are thinking thoughts right now that are pulling them deeper into regret, fear, and shame. They need you spiritually. They need your prayer. They need your energy. They need your light, and they don't even know how to say it. My child, feel my words as they fall into your heart. Your soulmate is not lost to darkness. This moment is a breaking point, not an ending. This moment is the turning point of their awakening. Sometimes the darkest mistake becomes the doorway through which light enters a heart that has been closed for too long. Right now, the heavens are watching them. Angels are already surrounding them. The man they hired is beginning to feel resistance, confusion, interruption. Their plan is already falling apart because I will not allow someone created in my image, someone I destined for you, to fall so deep that they cannot return. My child, breathe. Feel my protection around you. Feel my calm covering you. The evil deal was made just minutes ago, but its destruction was also reversed just minutes ago. This moment is not meant to create fear in you. It is meant to open your eyes, to show you the unseen battle, to reveal the power of your spirit, to prepare you for what is coming next, because what comes next is the unraveling, the truth exposing itself, the moment your soulmate faces the weight of their own decision, the moment they break, the moment they cry, the moment they seek forgiveness, not just from you, but from themselves. The instant that emotional choice was made, everything around your soulmate began to feel different, even if they could not fully explain why. Sometimes, people make decisions while overwhelmed by fear, heartbreak, or inner chaos, and in those fragile moments, emotions become louder than reason. What started as confusion slowly turned into emotional heaviness, as though pressure had quietly settled over their thoughts and clouded their ability to see clearly. Their mind was racing too fast to stop and question where their actions might lead. Instead of listening to calm wisdom, they were reacting from hurt, frustration, and emotional exhaustion. Unfortunately, there are people in this world who recognize vulnerability and know exactly how to influence those already struggling inside. Rather than offering peace or understanding, they encourage fear, resentment, and impulsive decisions that only deepen emotional pain. Your soulmate may have crossed paths with someone who saw their weakness not as something to heal, but as something to use for personal gain or control. In moments of emotional instability, even good people can be guided toward choices that do not reflect who they truly are. But temporary darkness does not erase the possibility of clarity. Eventually, emotions settle, truth becomes impossible to ignore, and the heart begins to recognize the difference between manipulation and genuine care. Right now, the most important thing you can do is protect your own peace and avoid being consumed by fear or anger. Difficult moments can create distance, but they can also reveal important truths about love, trust, and emotional growth. What feels heavy today may ultimately become the turning point that leads both of you toward greater understanding and healing. Something silenced, something taken away, and he does not care what gets destroyed in the process. Your soulmate didn't see the danger in his eyes. They weren't in the state of mind to notice. Their emotions were too loud. Their pain was too overwhelming. Their fear was too consuming. They believed that ending your peace was the only way to calm the storm inside them. They believed that if they could remove the pressure, remove the fear of losing you, remove the sense of being exposed, everything would go back to normal. But my child, nothing born from darkness ever brings peace. And now, just minutes after that deal was made, your soulmate is beginning to feel it. They are sitting alone now, or pacing, or crying, or staring at a wall with shaking hands. Their heart feels heavy, not because they think the plan will work, but because something inside them realizes this was a mistake, a big one, a dangerous one, a moment they cannot take back. Their chest tightens, their throat closes, their eyes burn, and suddenly they feel something they didn't feel while making the deal. Guilt, not the small kind that whispers, the heavy kind that screams, the guilt that hits like a tidal wave and makes them feel like they are drowning inside their own decisions. Their mind runs back to you, to the connection you share, to the moments your soul touched theirs, to the times you understood them without words, to the times your presence calmed the chaos inside them, and a question rises inside their heart like smoke. What have I done? They are beginning to realize the weight of the darkness they allowed in. They are beginning to understand that letting someone with such intentions interfere was a step too far. They are beginning to feel the consequences spiritually, even before anything happens physically. My child, let me tell you what is happening on the other side at this very moment. The man they hired is preparing, not physically preparing to harm you, but spiritually aligning himself with the intention placed upon him. He carries an energy of destruction. He does not need to be near you to try to affect your peace. His darkness works through disruption, chaos, fear, confusion. He tries to disturb the air around you. He tries to break your focus. He tries to shake your balance. But little does he know, he is stepping into territory that belongs to me. You are surrounded by divine protection. You are covered by light so powerful that no shadow can enter. You are sealed by angels who have already been activated the moment the deal was made. So while the man tries to step forward, he keeps feeling a pushback, a barrier, a resistance. Something unseen is slowing him down, confusing his mind, weakening his intention, because darkness cannot cross where my presence stands. But your soulmate doesn't know that. In their mind, the deal has already taken effect, and fear begins to creep into their thoughts. What if they made the wrong decision? What if this spirals out of control? What if this leads to something irreversible? What if they lose you forever because of this? And my child, they will, because when someone attempts to harm what I have blessed, they push themselves further away from their own blessings. But that realization is hitting them slowly, painfully, deeply. Right now, your soulmate is sitting with their face buried in their hands, asking themselves who they have become. They don't recognize the version of themselves that made this decision. They feel like they stepped into someone else's shadow. They feel like they let darkness use their pain, and they are afraid of themselves. They keep replaying the last 15 minutes over and over. The conversation, the moment they handed over the money, the expression on the man's face, the silence that followed. It haunts them, it shakes them, and the more they think about it, the more they realize that nothing good comes from choices made in fear. My child, you need to understand something very important. Your soulmate did not do this because they hate you. Beneath all the confusion and emotional chaos, your soulmate is beginning to realize how deeply this connection truly matters to them. Fear may have pushed them toward poor decisions, and outside influence may have clouded their judgment, but even in the middle of that emotional storm, something inside them has started to awaken. Regret has a powerful way of forcing the heart to confront truths it tried to avoid. Little by little, they are beginning to feel the weight of what could have been lost, and that realization is shaking them more deeply than they expected. The negativity that once surrounded their thoughts is slowly losing its grip as moments of clarity begin breaking through. They may suddenly feel restless, emotional, or overwhelmed without fully understanding why. Thoughts of you return unexpectedly, not as pressure or obsession, but as a quiet emotional pull they can no longer ignore. Deep inside, they are recognizing the comfort, connection, and peace your presence brought into their life. Even those who encouraged anger or confusion are beginning to lose influence as your soulmate starts listening to their own heart again. Emotional walls that once felt impossible to break are beginning to crack, allowing honesty and self-awareness to rise to the surface. This shift may feel intense for them because genuine feelings cannot stay buried forever. They are finally confronting emotions they once tried to suppress, and with that realization comes vulnerability, reflection, and a growing desire to make things right. The bond between you is reminding them that real connection is not built on fear or manipulation, but on understanding, trust, and emotional truth that continues to exist even through difficult moments. Because the realization hits them all at once, they made a terrible mistake. They trusted the wrong person. They stepped into darkness they cannot control. They whisper your name under their breath. They close their eyes. Tears finally fall, not of anger now, but of regret, of fear, of longing. They wish they could take back the last 15 minutes. They wish they could undo what they set into motion. They wish they could run to you and fall into your arms and confess everything, but their fear keeps them frozen. And while they sit there drowning in their regret, the man they hired is beginning to feel the first signs of divine resistance. His path is blocked, his intention is weakening, his spirit is growing restless, because he stepped into a battlefield where angels are already standing guard. My child, this is only the beginning. The unraveling has started. The breakdown is coming. The truth is waking up. The divine interference is growing stronger with every passing minute. My child, as the minutes pass, the echoes of that dark decision begin to travel through the unseen realm. What your soulmate set into motion is no longer just a moment. It has become a spiritual vibration moving through time, through energy, through destiny, and every vibration carries consequences, every intention carries weight, every choice touches something far beyond the physical world. The man they hired is already moving, not physically toward you, but mentally, spiritually, energetically. Darkness does not always travel by footsteps. Sometimes it moves through atmospheres, through intentions, through the invisible cracks where fear tries to slip in. He begins preparing himself in the way he always does, quietly, calculatingly, with a twisted confidence in the shadows that cling to him. He sits with his head lowered, his fingers tapping against his knee, sensing the task he believes he has control over. He doesn't understand that this time he has stepped into something he cannot manipulate. He doesn't know that the person he has been hired to target is not an ordinary soul. He doesn't know that your spirit is shielded by forces older than his darkness, stronger than his malice, and more powerful than his intent. As he prepares, something begins to go wrong. A sudden chill moves across his skin. His breath stumbles. His heartbeat momentarily falters, as if something invisible grabbed his chest. He shakes his head, trying to regain control, but control slips from him like water through fingers. He doesn't understand why this assignment feels heavier than any he has taken before. He doesn't understand why there is resistance even before he begins. He cannot see the angel standing at the threshold of your destiny. He cannot hear the whisper of divine protection surrounding you. He only feels something he cannot name, pressing against him, warning him, pushing him back, but darkness rarely listens to warnings. It pushes forward until it is forcibly stopped. While this man struggles with the invisible resistance, your soulmate is falling apart. They are not the same person who made that decision minutes ago. Their emotions have shifted from anger to fear, from fear to guilt, from guilt to complete emotional collapse. They are sitting alone now, their hands pressed to their forehead, their breathing unsteady. The weight of their decision feels like a stone pressing on their chest. They keep replaying everything. The moment the deal was made, the man's eyes, the words exchanged, the feeling of losing control. They whisper your name again, but softer this time, like a prayer, like a plea, like a confession. They feel your presence. They feel your energy. They feel the connection that ties them to you, pulling at them, calling them, begging them to turn back before it's too late. And deep inside, something breaks. A dam that had been holding back truth for months cracks open, releasing waves of emotions they can no longer hide from. They see flashes of your face, not physically, but in their mind, in their heart. The memories of your voice, your kindness, your understanding, they hit them all at once. And in that moment, they feel something they haven't allowed themselves to feel in a long time. Love, fear, regret, longing. Right now, your soulmate may be carrying a level of emotional weight they can barely understand themselves. Beneath the surface, regret is beginning to replace the fear and confusion that once controlled their actions. What they thought would protect them emotionally has instead left them feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and deeply conflicted inside. Sometimes people react impulsively when they are afraid of losing someone they truly care about, only realizing afterward how close they came to damaging something meaningful. That realization is now settling heavily on their heart. They are beginning to understand that love cannot be controlled through fear, pressure, or emotional reactions. Real connection asks for honesty, vulnerability, and trust, and deep down, they know they moved away from those things. This awareness is creating an intense inner struggle within them. Part of them wants to hide from the guilt and avoid facing the consequences of their choices, while another part desperately wants to fix what has been broken before it is too late. They may want to reach out, explain themselves, or reconnect, but shame and uncertainty are making them hesitate. Their thoughts feel scattered because emotions they buried for so long are now rising all at once. Yet even through this emotional storm, something hopeful is happening. The walls built by fear are weakening, and sincerity is beginning to take their place. Growth often begins at the exact moment someone is forced to confront their own mistakes honestly. Your calmness, patience, and emotional strength are becoming a source of clarity in ways they may not fully express yet. Slowly, they are realizing that genuine love is not something to fight against, but something to protect, nurture, and approach with truth instead of fear. The man hired begins to weaken. The evil deal begins to unravel. Your soulmate suddenly feels a sensation, a pull, a shift, a tremor inside their heart. They don't understand it, but they feel it deeply. It's the feeling of spiritual interference. It's the feeling of destiny refusing to break. It's the feeling of divine protection wrapping itself around you and reflecting back onto them. Their breathing changes, their heartbeat slows, their body warms, and for a split second, they feel peace, peace they haven't felt in years, peace they only feel when your energy touches theirs, and in that moment, they realize, you are their calm, you are their truth, you are their anchor, you are the one thing darkness cannot erase. But even as this realization rises inside them, the man they hired is feeling the opposite. His mind grows foggy, his hands tremble, the darkness inside him begins to flicker like a candle losing its flame. He tries to proceed, but spiritual walls surround him. He tries to focus, but his thoughts scatter. He tries to carry out the intention given to him, but every step forward feels like walking through a storm he cannot control. My child, he is not prepared for the divine forces standing against him. He is not prepared for the angelic resistance. He is not prepared for the spiritual shield that surrounds your destiny, and he begins to sense something powerful, a presence that is not human, not earthly, not weak. He feels watched, he feels blocked, he feels overpowered, he feels afraid. For the first time in his life, he feels fear, not from the world, but from the unseen realm, because he has touched something sacred. He has stepped toward a soul that is divinely protected, and darkness cannot survive in the presence of that level of protection. Meanwhile, your soulmate feels the shift happening. Their heart begins to race again, but this time not from fear, from awakening. Something is rising inside them, something strong, something undeniable. They feel the connection to you vibrating through their chest, through their breath, through their thoughts. They realize that what they tried to break cannot be broken. Tears fall from their eyes again, but these tears are different. These tears are cleansing. They are releasing. They are transforming. They whisper your name again, but this time with longing, with love, with desperation for forgiveness. They want to undo everything. They want to stop the man. They want to protect you. They want to run to you, but they don't know how. Their hands reach for their phone, but they stop. Their fingers hover, but they freeze. Their heart wants to move, but their fear pulls them back. My child, this is the breaking point, the moment where the darkness begins losing its hold, the moment where the evil deal begins falling apart, the moment where your soulmate's spirit begins waking up fully. But the shift is not complete yet. The unraveling has only just begun. The divine interference is only growing stronger. My child, as more minutes pass, the spiritual pressure around this situation grows heavier. What began as a single dark decision 15 minutes ago has now become a battlefield, a clash between the forces of light guarding your destiny and the shadows trying to interfere with it. The air around your soulmate feels dense, almost suffocating, because their spirit is being pulled in two directions at once. They are sitting in silence now, complete silence, no movement, no words, just the sound of their own heartbeat echoing in their ears. They feel trapped inside their own thoughts, surrounded by the echoes of what they have done. The realization is no longer just emotional, it is spiritual. They feel it deep inside their soul, the heaviness, the guilt, the wrongness of the decision they made. They bury their face in their hands, their breathing slows, a wave of trembling moves through their body. They whisper something so faint, so fragile, that only the universe can hear it. What have I done? Regret is crawling across their skin like fire, and with every passing second, the truth hits harder. The storm inside your soulmate is finally beginning to clear, and for the first time in a long while, they are seeing their actions with painful honesty. The fear that once controlled their emotions is fading, leaving them alone with the weight of choices they now deeply regret. They never truly wanted to hurt you. What they were fighting was the panic of losing someone who mattered more to them than they knew how to admit. Anxiety, insecurity, and emotional exhaustion pushed them into decisions made from desperation rather than clarity, and now the reality of those choices feels heavier than they ever imagined. Sitting quietly with their thoughts, they feel emotionally drained, as though every wall they built to protect themselves is collapsing all at once. The tears have slowed, not because the pain is gone, but because they have reached a point where sadness feels too deep for words. Their heart is filled with uncertainty as they wonder how to repair the damage or whether they still deserve a place in your life at all. Yet at the same time, something important is shifting within them. The negativity and emotional pressure that once clouded their judgment no longer feel as powerful as before. The more they reflect, the more they recognize the truth of what this connection means to them. Fear is losing its control, and sincerity is beginning to rise in its place. Even the outside influences that once encouraged confusion are starting to lose their impact as your soulmate becomes more emotionally aware and grounded. Deep down, they are realizing that genuine love cannot survive through fear, manipulation, or impulsive reactions. It can only survive through honesty, accountability, and the courage to face difficult truths with an open heart. His darkness is usually enough to overpower the energy of anyone he targets, but not you. Something about your spirit is too strong. The light around you burns too bright. It pushes him back like a force he cannot fight. He doesn't understand that the angels surrounding you have drawn a line he cannot cross. He doesn't understand that your soulmate's regret has weakened the deal. He doesn't understand that spiritual laws are already reversing his intention. All he knows is that something is wrong, very wrong. Your soulmate feels this shift too. Their intuition is awakening. Their chest tightens as a wave of panic rises inside them. They suddenly feel like time is running out. They feel like something terrible is happening at this very moment. They feel the consequences closing in. Their hand reaches for their phone again. Their thumb shakes over the screen. They want to cancel the deal. They want to undo everything. They want to stop the man. They want to protect you. But fear is still fighting for control. They type your name into their phone, then erase it, then type it again, then erase it again. Their hands shake harder. Tears resurface. Their breath becomes shallow. They feel like they are losing their mind. And then, something happens. A sudden warmth enters the room. It feels like sunlight spreading across their chest, even though the room is dim. A moment of stillness washes over them, like someone placed a hand on their back. They don't understand it, but they feel it deeply. Something divine is touching them, something that feels like truth, like clarity, like protection. This warmth grows stronger. Their breathing begins to steady. Their shoulders relax slightly. Their mind stops spiraling. And then, for the first time since they made the deal, they feel a spark of hope. They close their eyes. They whisper your name, this time with love, with longing, with desperation to make things right. Your energy reaches them. Your spirit touches theirs. Your light pushes through the darkness surrounding them, and they finally feel what they've been running from. They love you. They need you. They cannot lose you. They cannot allow harm to come near you. Suddenly, they stand up, quickly, almost impulsively. Their chair scrapes the floor. Their chest rises with a sharp breath, because something inside them just shifted, something powerful, something unstoppable. In that moment, their soul wakes up. Their body trembles, but not from fear, this time from determination. A fierce, urgent need to fix what they have broken fills their entire being. They grab their phone again, but not to type your name, this time to call the man. The moment the man sees their number, he hesitates. His skin prickles. His instincts scream at him to reject the call, to walk away from this whole situation. But he picks up anyway, his voice low and uneasy. Your soulmate's voice shakes as they speak. Stop. Whatever I said earlier, forget it. Stop everything. Do nothing. The man remains silent. He feels the pressure in his chest tighten. He feels the threat of something spiritually powerful standing behind your soulmate's words. He clears his throat. Too late to take back a deal. Your soulmate's breath catches. Fear returns. But something stronger rises inside them. Their voice becomes firm, almost commanding. I said stop. I don't want this. Do nothing. The man falls silent again. He knows something spiritual is interfering. He feels watched by forces he cannot fight. And for the first time in a long time, he decides to back away, not because of the money, not because of fear of your soulmate, but because something divine is forcing him out. He ends the call with a simple, "All right, my child, the evil deal just shattered, not by chance, not by accident, by divine interception." At last, the emotional darkness surrounding your soulmate is beginning to fade, replaced by a painful but necessary moment of clarity. The fear, confusion, and pressure that once controlled their thoughts no longer feel as strong, and now they are left alone with the full weight of their actions. It hits them all at once how close they came to damaging something deeply meaningful. The realization is overwhelming, leaving them emotionally shaken and unable to hide from the truth any longer. They may sit quietly replaying everything in their mind, feeling guilt rise heavier with every memory. The emotions they tried so hard to avoid are now impossible to escape. Yet within that breakdown, something important is happening. The emotional walls they built out of fear are collapsing, allowing honesty and vulnerability to finally reach the surface. For the first time in a long while, they are no longer fighting against their feelings. Instead, they are beginning to understand them. The heaviness inside their heart is slowly giving way to a sense of emotional release, as though clarity is finally replacing chaos. Deep down, they know they cannot continue hiding from the consequences of their choices. They feel the growing need to speak honestly, to admit their mistakes, and to face the truth of what this connection truly means to them. This moment feels intense, because real emotional transformation often begins when someone can no longer pretend they are unaffected. What once felt like confusion is turning into awareness, and what once felt controlled by fear is now being guided toward sincerity. Though the journey ahead may still be emotional, your soulmate is finally beginning to understand that genuine love can only survive when truth is stronger than fear. They never meant for things to go this far. They never planned for the situation to spiral into something this dark, this irreversible, this dangerous. But the moment the man they hired began asking the final question, the moment he stood ready to carry out the last step, your soulmate felt something deep inside their soul, snapping like a fragile thread, pulled too tight. They whisper your name under their breath without even realizing it. They feel a sharp pain in their heart, a sense of losing everything, and suddenly the darkness they thought they could control begins to swallow them. They feel cold, trapped, and terrified. They cannot breathe properly because the weight of guilt is suffocating them. And for the first time since this started, they wish desperately, desperately, that they could undo the last 15 minutes of their life. They see your face in their mind, not angry, not broken, but innocent, soft, unknowing. They see the trust you had, the love you gave, the kindness you showed them even when they didn't deserve it, and this image becomes a blade slicing through their heart. They fall to their knees, overwhelmed, because they realize that they involved you in something that should never have touched your pure soul. They realize that they allowed fear, pressure, jealousy, and manipulation to influence their judgment. They realize that they gave their power away to darkness, forgetting that you were the one person who ever held light for them. Their mind begins replaying every moment with you, the way you looked at them, the way your voice softened around them, the way your energy always felt like peace to their soul. And now they feel sick to their stomach, because the thought of hurting you, the thought of harming your destiny, the thought of taking away your peace, destroys something inside them that they didn't even know existed. The man they hired stands waiting, confused by their sudden silence. He asks, "Do you want me to finish this or not?" And the question hits your soulmate like thunder. Finish what? End what? Destroy who? The very idea of it burns them from the inside. They feel their pulse racing uncontrollably. Their throat closes up. They shake their head without speaking because they don't know how to say the words out loud. They don't know how to admit they made a mistake so grave, so dark. Their heart whispers, "No, stop. This isn't right." Their soul whispers, "You cannot hurt the one person who loved you." And heaven whispers, "My child, you will not touch the chosen one." Your soulmate grips their hands together, trembling violently. They tell the man to wait. They tell him there has been a mistake. They tell him they need time. But the truth is, they already know the decision is made. They cannot go through with this. They cannot allow darkness to take control. They cannot let harm come to you, not even a second, not even in thought. Something divine steps into the room at that moment, my child. A wave of spiritual interference, a sudden heaviness of light that stops every dark intention from moving forward. The man they hired begins to feel uneasy, restless, as if something unseen is watching him. He fidgets, he steps back. He no longer feels confident in what he was paid to do, because when heaven enters a battlefield, darkness begins to stumble without understanding why. Your soulmate notices the shift too. They feel a strange warmth rise in their chest, something pure, something hopeful, something that feels like you. It reminds them of the moments when they felt safe with you, when your presence calmed their storms, when your spirit held them even without words. They close their eyes and whisper, "Please, don't let anything happen to them." And this whisper becomes the moment everything starts to break. The evil deal, the binding energy, the dark intention, it all begins to crumble. They begin pacing back and forth, their mind racing with thoughts they cannot organize. They want to run to you. They want to see you with their own eyes. A deep emotional awakening is unfolding inside your soulmate, and for the first time, they are no longer running from the truth of their feelings. The fear and confusion that once clouded their judgment are being replaced by something far more powerful, genuine remorse and an overwhelming desire to protect the connection they almost pushed away. As reality settles in, they are beginning to understand how much your presence truly means to them. The thought of losing you no longer feels like an abstract fear, but something painfully real, and that realization is shaking them to their core. Sitting alone with their emotions, they can no longer hide behind pride, anger, or outside influence. Every defense they once used to avoid vulnerability is collapsing, leaving only honesty behind. Deep inside, they know they never wanted to become someone controlled by fear or negativity. They never wanted their emotions to lead them toward choices that could hurt the person they care about most. Memories of your voice, your energy, and the comfort you brought into their life continue returning to them like reminders of the peace they almost lost. This realization is becoming a turning point. They are choosing to walk away from the negativity and emotional chaos that once surrounded their decisions, because they now understand that protecting this connection matters more than feeding temporary fear. The pressure that once controlled them is losing its hold, and clarity is finally taking its place. In quiet moments, they feel overwhelmed by emotion, not because they are weak, but because their heart is finally opening fully to the depth of what they almost lost, and what they still hope can be saved through truth, accountability, and sincere love. There is pain in their voice, regret in their breath, and love in their tears. They realize how much you truly mean to them. They realize you are not just someone in their life, you are the one soul who could have changed everything for them. My child, in that moment, heaven sends a message into their heart, a message that says, you were never meant to lose them, you were meant to love them. And your soulmate feels this message like thunder in their spirit. They rise slowly with a new determination, a desire to fix everything, to protect you, to choose the light over the darkness that almost consumed them. They want to come toward you now, not to hide, not to fight, but to tell you the truth of their heart. They want to break every influence, every manipulation, every fear that dragged them into such a dark decision, and the spiritual chains begin falling away, one by one, until the evil deal is completely broken. Your soulmate's heart turns back toward you, their soul reaches for you, and heaven stands between you and every danger that tried to rise. And as the last pieces of that evil deal crumble into nothingness, a deep quiet settles around your soulmate, a quiet filled with truth, awakening, and remorse, so heavy it shakes their entire soul. They sit alone in that silence, feeling the weight of everything they almost allowed, everything they almost lost, everything darkness almost convinced them to destroy. Their hands tremble, their heart aches, and their soul feels bruised, because they know now they came dangerously close to losing the one person fate had chosen for them. They whisper into the empty room, "What have I done?" Their voice cracks, barely audible, but heaven hears it clearly, and in that moment, a soft wave of divine energy surrounds them, warm, gentle, forgiving, yet powerful enough to melt the last shadow clinging to their spirit. This light does not judge them, it guides them, it holds them, it reminds them that no matter how far they wandered into darkness, love and destiny never gave up on them. Your soulmate closes their eyes and feels something they have not felt in days, your presence, not physically, but spiritually, a soft connection, a pull, a heartbeat that seems to sync with yours, even across the distance, and it makes them realize how deeply you are tied to them. It makes them understand that hurting you would have been hurting their own soul. It breaks them completely, because now they see the truth. You were not the threat, you were the blessing sent to heal them. Their tears fall freely now, not from fear, but from the heavy regret of almost losing you. They hold their chest as if trying to stop the pain, but the divine presence around them whispers gently that this pain is a cleansing, a transformation, a rebirth, and in that fragile moment, your soulmate makes a promise spoken not with their mouth, but with their entire spirit, a promise that they will never again allow darkness to guide their actions. They will never again let fear or manipulation push them into hurting you. They will never again forget who you truly are to them. And my child, as that promise is made, heaven shifts. A spiritual barrier rises around you, stronger, brighter, more unbreakable than anything darkness can touch. You become wrapped in a shield of divine protection, a circle of light that no hired hand, no evil plan, no hidden enemy, no negative intention can ever break through again. The danger dissolves, the threat vanishes, the man they hired feels blocked, confused, unable to return to the plan even if he wanted to. Every dark path leading toward you is sealed shut by divine hands. Your soulmate feels this shift, their breath steadies, their heart softens, and for the first time since the chaos began, they feel hope, real, pure hope, filling their spirit. A quiet transformation is taking place within your soulmate, one that is rooted not in fear anymore, but in honesty, accountability, and emotional awakening. The walls that once kept them distant are finally breaking apart, allowing them to clearly see the pain their choices almost created. More than anything, they want the chance to stand before you with complete sincerity, without excuses or pride, and admit how deeply they regret letting confusion and fear guide their actions. In their heart, they know you never deserved uncertainty, emotional distance, or the weight of their inner battles. They now recognize your presence as something rare, comforting, and deeply valuable, a source of peace they almost lost while trying to protect themselves from vulnerability. This realization is changing them from within. Instead of running from their emotions, they are beginning to face them with maturity and truth. The negativity and emotional chaos that once surrounded this connection are slowly losing their power, replaced by clarity, reflection, and a genuine desire to heal what has been damaged. Your soulmate is beginning to understand that real love cannot survive through control, fear, or emotional reactions. It survives through openness, trust, and the courage to choose honesty even when it feels difficult. At the same time, your own spirit is moving into a season of emotional peace and protection. The heaviness that once surrounded this situation is beginning to lift, making space for healing, strength, and renewed hope. What once felt threatened by confusion is now being guided toward understanding and emotional growth. Step forward with confidence, knowing that difficult moments do not always destroy meaningful connections. Sometimes they reveal the truth both hearts needed in order to finally grow toward something healthier, stronger, and more genuine than before.